guys, so we got the spring cultivators hooked up to the tractor, and this is what we're going to use to go down the rows and actually cultivate the soil beside the potato row and loosen up the soil, so when we get ready to heal them, we can it's a lot easier to pull the soil up to it. Now these cultivators in particular is a 3-point cultivator. Basically you can see, and let me get this camera so you can see down through here. You can see directly up under the tractor. And what happens is, as we go down the road, the plants will actually come through here, and we'll cultivate everything on this side, and we'll cultivate everything on this side. And the beauty of this is while the plants are young and can still get under the drawbar, which is this right here, this works pretty good. But eventually these potatoes will get so tall that we won't be able to use the tractor anymore. We'll have to do this by hand. So we're going to take advantage of the size now that they are, so we can get this done. And this is the first healing on these potatoes. Normally I do it 3 times, and every time I heal them I fertilize them. So we're going to hit them with some 17, which is a balanced fertilizer, and that's going to make these things pop. The next time we get some rain, which I'm going to put the sprinklers on them today, but the next time we get a good soaking rain, you watch what happens. These things are going to jump. So we run the cultivator down through there, man. I always like the way the garden looks after you get done running down through them rows. That cultivator just looks nice and clean. So what I'm gonna do now is go down here and I'm gonna hand sprinkle 17 beside each row, and go down one side and the other. And that way when we get done, I can take the tractor and come back with the disc healers, and I can pull the dirt up to the center of it. Now, I mean, we could cover these plants all the way up to just about where the top leaf. As long as there's green still showing, that plant will continue to grow. And the more dirt that we put on top of it just gives those potatoes more room to grow. And they're actually getting a foothold now, so they're not actually putting on potatoes, but it won't be much longer and they'll start putting them on. But we want to give them enough dirt beside them so those things can actually make plenty of potatoes. So the more dirt, the better. All right, guys, so I'm gonna give you a shot of this before I heal these things up. You can see how I went down through here on both sides, the fertilizer, over here and over here. And that may seem like a lot, but you know, a lot of it's going to get mixed in and pushed to the bottom anyway. So I probably figure about 10 pounds for 80-foot row. So there's 20 pounds of 17 in here now on both of these rows. And like I said, a lot of it is going to get kind of sifted to the bottom, but you know what, I want to make sure I get enough on it, so when we get these rains that's coming up here pretty soon, these things are going to jump. But right now I'm going to take the tractor with the disc healers on the front, and I'm going to go down through and put them in just enough. I want to pull this dirt up to probably right around in here on this plant, all the way down. And you can see there's some frost damage from last week still on him. But it's coming, it's coming back. But we're going to pull some dirt up, like I said, on the bigger plants, up to, you know, about right in here. But down the road where some of the smaller plants are, we're going to have to pay real close attention so we can pick the disc healers up so we don't throw as much dirt on it. We may cover up the plant just to the last or the top leaves. It's not going to hurt it a bit. It'll jump then. So we're going to get out here on the tractor and go ahead and get started. Guys, way over here in the shade taking us a break. I thought I would go ahead and go over what I'm going to be using to plant these peas. And I talked to a guy who was interested in, you know, the cedar that I use, the plate, the depth, and all that stuff. And what I'm using is an earthway. Now, I mean, it's what I've got, and I don't use it to plant everything, but I do use it for corn, and I do use it for beans and peas. And today we're going to be planting the pink eye purple hull on this side. Not to be confused with the purple hull pea, which we also plant on this side. I'm going to show you the difference. The purple hull pea, let me see if I can get this over here, is dried. It's a brown pea. And the pink eye purple hull dried is a white / tan looking pea. Now, they both have the same characteristics. They both get purple hulls when they're ready, but you can see the difference in the two. We put them side by side. So, the brown one would be the Mississippi purple hull, and the whiter is the pink eye purple hull. So, you can see the difference in the two. So, we're going to be using the sweet corn plate for an earthway, which you see it's got 4 slots in it. Now, doesn't matter if you're using an earthway, a Host cedar, or a Jang, or whatever. So you're going to have to make sure the plate is right for that machine. Now, these plates here is just a tad bit big. You can see that seed to kind of roll around in that hole, and that's okay. I mean, if we double plants, that's okay too. That's just, you know, more germination that we're going to get, hopefully. But I've got the depth on this earthway set on about 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch to 1 inch, and that should be a gracious plenty. So I went through with the push plow and I made me a furrow, and what I'll do is go down through here and I'll seed the inside of that furrow, and then we'll water everything in real good. Now, as those beans start to come up, we will heal these peas. We will pull dirt up to the stalk just to support it, because these things get top heavy and they will lay over in your row. So once they get up to some size, I'm saying 8, 10, you know, even a foot, we'll come back and we'll kind of pull some dirt up to them, and it's not going to hurt them one bit. But we're going to get out here and load this thing. I hope I've got enough. We still have the privilege of having, you know, farm supplies or seed companies here locally that we can buy it by the ounce, we can buy it by the pound. This is a couple pounds. This is 2 pounds of pink eye purple hull, and I think this is a pound of purple hull. So, you know, I guess we're lucky that we can still go to, you know, our local mom and pop farm supply, and we can buy seed this way. I've also got some Kentucky Wonder pole beans. I bought these because of the pole beans that we had. The frost got some of them. I'm not so sure that I'm not going to replant those rows. I'm going to kind of give it a couple of days and see what happens, because I think more died than I thought initially. So I'm just going to kind of watch it. I'm going to water them in real good. I'm going to kind of watch it and see if they come up, you know, start coming back. If they do, then we'll be okay. We can get a succession plant later on. But if they don't, then I still got plenty of time. I can disc those rows up and I can run 2 new rows. So guys, if you look down through there, these are some pretty long rows. They're pushing 80 feet. And I'm hoping that we'll have enough to get all 4. Should have plenty. So we'll fill this thing up to the line. It's not quite halfway. You don't want to get too many in it. But this corn plate should drop a seed about every 4 inches, and it may double seed, and that's okay. But we're going to get down through this first row and see how many we use, and then we can go from there. Yeah, just dropping them about 4 to 6 inches, somewhere around in there. So that's really good. That's exactly where we should be. Alright guys, so we got all 4 rows in, and if I had to guess, we used, out of 2 pounds, that's what I got left, so we might have used 3/4 of a pound for those rows. But that's okay. I mean, I'll use these the rest of the year, because we have a very big problem with deer, and once these things pop up and they get about that big, the deer's coming. They're going to find them, and they're going to try to wipe the whole thing out. But we're going to have something waiting on them this year, ain't we, Jay?
Yeah.
We're going to zap them. Jay said a shotgun, but we're going to put up solar electric fence, I think, this year. I don't know. I may run a drop cord down here and just put a regular electric fence on it and just fence the whole thing in and be done with it. But yeah, every year we have a problem with deer. And normally I lose the first planting every year to them. It's because I'm reluctant to put the fence up and peas start looking good, and then all of a sudden I'm like, well maybe the deer's a little skittish. Then no, they show up one night and wipe the whole thing out. So this year we're not going to waste any time. As soon as I start seeing the first pea in the ground, this fence is going up. All right, so we started out this morning where we're going to heel and fertilize the potatoes. Check. Where we're going to plant 4 rows of pink eye purple hull peas. Check. And we're going to plant, I'm hoping, about 10 rows of Ambrosia sweet corn. So we're going to go get us a bite to eat, get us some lunch. I'm going to get on this tractor. We're going to start running rows. And hopefully by, I don't know, 1, 2 o'clock, we can have the sprinkler set up and we'll water this in for the rest of the day. And you guys might see, you know, how I planted in this furrow, and you ask why. I've learned over the years that it's easier for me to plant beans, especially in a furrow, because they catch more water when it rains or with it sprinkled. And the water actually, the furrow funnels the water into the trench where the beans are, and it's more efficient when you water because it gets to where it needs to be instead of everywhere else. Well, of course it's going to get everywhere else too, but majority of it hits that furrow, it's going to run down in there and it's going to benefit the plants. That's why I like planting in the furrow, especially on corn and beans. We're going to do the same thing on the corn. As soon as we get back from eating, we're going to get after it. All right, guys, it has been a very productive day. It's been a long day. We managed to get all of the potatoes fertilized and healed. We got the Red Norlands on this side, and we got the Yukon Gold on the other side. Got that behind us. We got 4 rows of pink eye purple hulls planted in this garden. Those rows are 80 feet long. We also got 10 rows of Ambrosia sweet corn planted in this garden here. They're 80 feet long. And I've had these sprinklers here running for probably close to 3 hours now, and you can see it's not even attempting to puddle up out there. That ground is just absorbing all of that moisture. So I'm getting ready to cut these off, and I'm going to move them to the other side of the garden where I've got the onions, the elephant garlic, the Yukon Gold potatoes, and also 5 rows of Yellowstone corn. All of that's been fertilized, all of that's been planted. We're gonna set the sprinklers up and let them go for a couple hours or until it gets dark. Well, guys, I'm gonna get off here and move these sprinklers over here on this side of the garden and get ready for tomorrow. But hopefully we'll get up in the morning, we'll have some goat babies. I don't know. She looks like she's about ready to pop now. Anyway, guys, if you hadn't already, reach over in his right-hand corner and click that subscribe button and click the bell notification so you get notified every time I put out a video. As always, guys, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.